Women do this when they feel safe with a man. Most men think attraction is about excitement, mystery, charm, sex appeal, dominance. That's what your competitors are selling. But here's what they're not telling you. Excitement creates tension. Safety creates attachment. And if a woman feels emotionally safe with you, her behavior changes in ways most men completely miss. Not because she's less attracted, but because she's more. The lie men are sold. You've been told women are drawn to intensity, to the unpredictable guy, the emotionally unavailable one, the man who keeps her guessing. And yes, intensity creates spark, but spark is not stability. Spark burns fast, safety builds slow, and it builds deep. And when a woman feels safe with a man, her nervous system shifts. Her guard lowers, her posture softens, her voice changes, her eyes hold longer. This is not boredom teases trust, and trust is biologically intimate. What safety actually means. Safety does not mean nice. It does not mean passive. It does not mean agreeable. It does not mean soft. Safety means she does not feel judged. She does not feel rushed. She does not feel emotionally pressured. She does not feel she has to perform. Most men create performance environments. They test her. They impress her. They escalate. They seek validation. Safe men don't extract. They contain. And containment is rare when a woman feels safe. She starts doing this. Let's begin with the first shift. 1. Her voice softens. Watch carefully. When she feels safe, her tone drops slightly. Her pace slows. She stops projecting and starts expressing. This isn't submission. This is regulation. Her nervous system is no longer braced. Around men she doesn't trust. Women speak sharper, faster, higher, more defensive. Around a safe man, her voice becomes grounded. That shift alone tells you more than flirtation ever will. 2. She stops performing cool girl energy. When a woman doesn't feel safe, she performs. She pretends she doesn't care. She minimizes feelings. She avoids vulnerability. She keeps things surface level. But when she feels safe, she drops the act. She admits when something hurts. She says what she actually wants. She disagrees calmly. She doesn't pretend to be low-made. This is huge, because vulnerability only appears where safety exists. And vulnerability is the gateway to emotional bonding. Here's what your competitors won't tell you. They teach you how to trigger attraction. They rarely teach you how to sustain it. Because sustained attraction requires emotional steadiness, impulse control, calm, presence, self-regulation, which is less flashy, but infinitely more powerful. A woman can feel chemistry with many men. She only feels safe with very few. Psychological truth. When a woman feels safe, her amygdala relaxes, her stress response lowers, her body exits defensive mode. She stops scanning for threat, and when the scanning stops, connection begins. This is why some men are exciting, and others become unforgettable. Not because they were louder, but because they were grounded. The subtle sign most men miss. When she feels safe, she'll share something small first. Not a trauma story, something minor. A childhood memory, an insecurity about something trivial. A story that reveals a soft edge. This is a test, but not the kind you think. She's not testing dominance. She's testing emotional safety. How you respond determines whether she opens further or shuts down permanently. Mock it. She retracts. Minimize it. She retracts. Overreact. She retracts. Hold it calmly. Say, expands. Safety creates expansion. Here's the deeper layer. When a woman feels unsafe, she contracts. Short answers. Guarded body language, polite smiles. Surface conversation. When she feels safe, she expands. Longer eye contact. More detailed stories. Physical proximity increases naturally. She touches your arm without thinking. Not because she's trying to seduce, because her nervous system feels secure. And security unlocks natural femininity. The dangerous mistake. Many men sabotaged safety by escalating too quickly. They sense vulnerability. They try to capitalize on it. They move faster physically. They push deeper emotionally. They tease at the wrong moment. And suddenly, the softness disappears. Because safety cannot coexist with pressure. The real power move when she opens up. You don't intensify, you stabilize. That's what separates boys from men. That's what separates attraction from attachment. And attachment is what builds loyalty. Let this sink in. Women are not attracted to chaos. They are stimulated by it. They attach to safety. And when a woman attaches emotionally, her behavior changes in ways that feel subtle, but are psychologically massive. In the next section, we're going deeper. We're going to break down the body language shifts, the unconscious behaviors, the intimacy signals that only show up when trust is real, and why most men misinterpret comfort as loss of attraction, because when you understand what safety looks like, you stop chasing, and you start becoming the man women relax around. And a woman who relaxes around you is already halfway bonded. Now we go deeper, because here's where most men get confused. When a woman feels safe with you, her behavior becomes calmer, and men mistake calm for boredom. They think, she's not as flirty. She's not as intense. She's too comfortable. The spark is fading. No. The spark is stabilizing, and stability is where attachment grows. Let's break down the unconscious shifts that only happen when safety is real. 1. She stops guarding her image. When a woman doesn't feel safe, she edits herself. She filters her opinions. She curates her reactions. She controls how she's perceived. But when she feels safe, she lets you see the unpolished version. She laughs louder. She admits weird habits. She shows you when she's tired. She removes the put-together mask. This is not a downgrade. This is intimacy. She's no longer performing attraction. She's existing inside it. And that only happens when she trusts you won't weaponize what she reveals. 2. Her body language opens without seduction. Here's something powerful. Seductive body language is intentional. Safe body language is unconscious. When she feels safe, her shoulders drop, her arms uncross. She leans back instead of leaning forward to impress. She sits closer without thinking about it. She may even sit beside you in silence without needing stimulation. Silence is the biggest indicator. If she can sit quietly with you and not feel awkward, that's deep nervous system trust, because silence exposes insecurity, and she doesn't feel insecure around you. 3. She teases you, but gently. Not sharp sarcasm. Not defensive humor. Playful teasing. Light touches of challenge. When a woman feels unsafe, teasing is often defensive. When she feels safe, teasing is connection. It's her way of saying, I'm relaxed enough to play. Play only happens in secure environments. You don't joke freely around someone you're evaluating for threat. You joke around someone who feels safe. 4. She shares future language, casually. Watch her language patterns. When she feels safe, she says things like, we should try that place. You'd like my sister? That would be fun for us. It's subtle. She's mentally placing you in future frames. Not because she's calculating, but because she's comfortable imagining continuity. A woman doesn't mentally extend a man into her future unless he feels emotionally stable. Safety unlocks projection. 5. She lets you see her negative emotions. This is massive. Most men only see the polished emotional range. Happy, flirty, light annoyance. But when she feels safe, she shows sadness, disappointment, frustration, fear. And here's where men fail. They try to fix or tape on it, or they pull away. But what she's actually testing isn't your solutions. She's testing your nervous system. Can you stay steady while she feels? If you can, attachment deepens. If you can't, she goes back to emotional performance mode. The psychological mechanism behind all this. A woman's nervous system is constantly scanning. Is this man reactive? Is he unpredictable? Does he escalate emotionally? Does he withdraw when things get heavy? When she feels safe, the scanning reduces. When scanning reduces, authenticity increases. And authenticity builds bonding chemicals. Oxytocin. This is why safety creates attachment more powerfully than excitement ever could. Excitement triggers dopamine. Safety triggers oxytocin. Dopamine chases. Oxytocin bonds. Your competitors teach you dopamine triggers. Very few teach you oxytocin environments. The mistake that destroys safety. When she starts becoming some men get bored. They escalate to bring back the spark. They withdraw to create tension. They flirt with other women. They reintroduce unpredictability. and she feels it instantly. Because once safety is broken, rebuilding it is 10 times harder. You can create attraction quickly. You cannot rebuild broken safety quickly. The strongest indicator of all, when a woman feels safe, she relaxes physically around you in public. She walks beside you naturally. She doesn't over-monitor your reactions. She doesn't perform for the room. She feels emotionally contained. And containment is masculine in its healthiest form, not dominance. Containment. It's the difference between, I need to control the room, and I am steady, regardless of the room. Women feel that difference immediately. Here's the real reframe. When she feels safe, she becomes softer, more expressive, more real, more emotionally open. If you interpret softness as loss of attraction, you will sabotage something rare. Because what you're actually witnessing is trust. And trust is the foundation of long-term desire. Now we're entering the deepest layer. Because there are levels to safety. Level 1. She feels comfortable. Level 2. She feels relaxed. Level 3. She feels emotionally anchored to you. And when that happens, her behavior shifts in ways that are almost invisible to the untrained eye, but unmistakable once you understand them. This is where attachment begins. 1. She seeks you when she's overwhelmed, not just when she's happy, not just when she's bored, when she's stressed, when she's uncertain, when something shakes her emotionally. If she reaches for you in those moments, even casually, that means your presence regulates her nervous system. That's powerful, because now you are not just attraction. You are stability. Most men are visited during excitement. Very few are sought during vulnerability. If she calls you after a hard day, if she wants to sit near you when she's anxious, if she texts you when something goes wrong, that's not convenience. That's nervous system trust. 2. She becomes physically affectionate without sexual tension. This is where men misread again. When she feels safe, she may lean into you without seduction, rest her head on your shoulder, touch you casually, sit close, even when intimacy isn't escalating. This isn't friend energy. This is secure energy. There's a difference between, I want to arouse you, and I feel safe being physically near you. The second one is deeper, because sexual chemistry can happen with tension. Physical closeness without tension only happens with trust. 3. She stops testing you. Early on, women test. Emotionally, socially, subtly, not to manipulate, to measure. But when she feels safe, the tests fade. She doesn't provoke to see if you react. She doesn't withdraw to see if you chase. She doesn't poke your ego. She relaxes into consistency. That's when you know you've passed something unspoken. 4. She reveals her insecurities. Without disclaimers. Early vulnerability comes with disclaimers. This is probably dumb, but I don't usually tell people this. Don't judge me. But at deeper safety, she drops the disclaimers. She trusts your response before she even speaks. That's emotional anchoring. And if you remain steady in those moments, she bonds. If you joke at the wrong time, if you minimize, if you get uncomfortable, she quietly recalibrates. Safety is built in micro moments, destroyed in micro reactions. 5. She allows you to lead without resistance, not control. Lead. There's a difference. When a woman feels unsafe, she controls details. She manages plans. She monitors outcomes. She keeps emotional distance. When she feels safe, she relaxes her grip. She lets you choose the restaurant. She trusts your direction. She moves with you instead of bracing against you. That's not submission. That's trust in your stability. And stability is deeply masculine when it's grounded, not ego. The final psychological layer. Safety is not created by being agreeable. It's created by being emotionally regulated. A safe man doesn't escalate when triggered, doesn't withdraw when challenged, doesn't explode when disrespected, doesn't crumble when she's emotional. He contains, he doesn't suppress, he doesn't dominate, he doesn't overreact, he stays steady. That steadiness creates something rare, predictability without boredom, and that is the sweet spot. Why this matters more than attraction. Attraction can be sparked by looks, status, mystery, confidence. But attachment is built by emotional safety. Women don't fall in love with adrenaline. They fall in love with regulation, with present, with the feeling of, I can exhale around him. If she exhales around you, you're not just attractive, you're safe. And when you become safe without losing strength, you become irreplaceable. The balanced man. Let's make something clear. Safety without strength becomes boring. Strength without safety becomes threatening. The rare man embodies both. He can tease, but not humiliate. He can lead, but not control. He can be firm, but not reactive. It can become without being passive. That combination creates deep attachment, not chaos, not games, not manipulation. If a woman becomes softer around you, more real, more open, more emotionally expressive, do not interpret it as loss of spark. Interpret it as trust. And trust is the foundation of long-term desire, because the woman who feels safe with you stops scanning, stops bracing, stops performing, and starts bonding. If this resonated with you, drop this in the comments. I create safety because most men chase intensity. Very few master stability. And the ones who master stability, they don't just attract women, they anchor them.